Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is actually several things, but we're going to be talking about how banks might seize deposits and also food recalls, and there's a bunch of other things. A lot of things happening out there today. Hedge fund manager says government may restrict bank withdrawals, tells public they should panic. Okay, so this is supposedly an expert. And he says that he's telling people that it is time to panic. He said very good reasons to panic. He said mass panic and capital flight away from the U.S. banking sector is entirely justified, meaning what he's saying is it's a good time to pull your money out of the banks. He says the M2 money supply, which in part tracks money in liquid checking accounts, could convince the U.S. government to step in and prevent citizens, I'll say it again, prevent citizens from taking their capital, their money. Okay, they're talking about they might just take your money away. That's what they're saying. Prevent citizens from taking their capital out of the banking system. I'm going to read it again. The M2 money supply, which is part tracks the money in liquid checking accounts, could convince the U.S. government to step in and prevent citizens from taking their money out of the banking system. Sometimes it's kind of relevant to panic, he says. I would recommend you panic. So this is an expert saying it's time to panic. It would have been nice if they'd listened to Shane Warne back in 2010, 13 years ago, when he had the vision where he saw the dollars blowing worthless as leaves in the wind and made corrections then. But of course, they don't believe God talks today. They don't believe God has prophets today. He says sometimes it's kind of relevant to panic. I would recommend you panic. You've seen the biggest waterfall decline in M2 right now. M2 is deposits, not loans. That's deposits fleeing the system. In other words, a lot of big money people across the nation and perhaps even around the world are pulling their money out of the banks. Now, where do you put it? Of course, I'm going to send you to cornerstoneassetmetals.com. I can't give financial advice, but they can. I suggest you call and say, look, here's my situation. Here's what I've got. What do you recommend? They're Christians, they're prophecy students. They love Prophecy Club people because they know what's going on. They got their eyes open, their ears on. That could reach a crescendo where the Treasury and the Fed may have to come in and actually look at what he's saying. Restrict your right as a U.S. citizen to pull your money out of the U.S. banking sector. What? That could reach a crescendo where the Treasury and the Fed may have to come in and actually restrict your right as a U.S. citizen to pull money out of the U.S. banking sector. That'll never happen in America. Now, wait a minute. The Fed has openly put on the Federal Reserve website that in April they're going to start taking people into their FedNow system, and that in July they're going to introduce the CBDC, the Central Bank Digital Currency. What do you think that is? That's getting rid of the coins and the paper. Remember what Kissinger said. He who controls food supply controls the people. He who controls energy can control whole continents. But he who controls money can control the whole world. That's what the digital system is. They're doing away with the old SWIFT system to bring in a new digital system. I've told you this, based upon the cell phone. Why? So that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. They're serious. This is their goal for 6,000 years, to put the Antichrist on the throne. And according to three people, I'm not ready to say I agree with them yet, but three people say we're in the tribulation. And there's a lot of reasons why we might be. Breaking. Elon Musk hires World Economic Forum executive to replace him as Twitter CEO. Elon Musk has announced that WF Executive Chair Linda Yaccarino will indeed replace him as CEO for Twitter. They're no longer talking about it. they put someone from the World Economic Forum into leadership at Twitter. See, because I told you, don't trust Elon Musk. He's not a good guy. So he bought the company. Where did he get the money to buy it? Who has all the money? The Christians? No. The Federal Reserve? Yes. And they're money people. The article goes on to say the World Economic Forum, now this is more of the details of who they are, brings together, this is from their website, brings together government, businesses, and civil society to improve the state of the world. That's right. They want to improve the whole world by taking over the world. Their website says the World Economic Forum is an international, non-governmental, don't you believe it? Okay, they control the governments. Non-governmental and lobbying organization for multinational companies, not just companies, governments, everybody. Based in Switzerland. Now, where did World War II come from? Oh, it was the Nazi Germany's. Yeah, well, where did the Nazis come from? Where does the word Nazi come from? It comes from the word Ashkenazi. Okay, where's that come from? Ukraine. And before it was Germany, it was in Switzerland. Remember, Switzerland in World War II was the nation that is, we're not part of the war. We're on neutral ground. But inside sources through the years, I've heard many people say this, that when Germany confiscated the diamonds and the paintings and things like that from the Jews, well, they sent them over to Switzerland. Switzerland sold them under the table to the world, and then they brought the money back to Germany. So Germany was the guys with the bullets. Switzerland were the guys with the money. So the bad part of Germany, the bad part of Switzerland, the bad part of Ukraine is all the Nazis, the Ashkenazis that say they're Jews, Revelation says, but they do lie, but they are the synagogue of Satan, Revelation says. Now, in other words, not good guys. Yacarino has been an executive chair at the globalist WEF since January 2019. And by the way, this, I think, comes from this website right here, okay? Has been executive chair at the globalist WEF since January 20. Yacarino, I'll get it right here, is the chairman of the WEF's task force on future to work and sits on WEF's media, entertainment, culture, industry, governor's steering committee. So, this is like the fox has been given the job of guarding the hen house. So now, Elon Musk bought Twitter, which is supposed to be the world's largest newspaper or news source, and he turns around and he puts someone from the WEF in charge. And you think you're going to get the truth? No, my friend. No, you're not going to get the truth. Yacarino partners with the business community, the White House, the government agencies to create what? I can't even say it. They'll take me off again. Create the EMP campaign. You got to read it. Featuring Pope Francis and reaching over 200 million Americans. Okay, so this is the lady that got the feather in her cap by killing people. Furthermore, Yacarino has pushed discriminatory equal-based hiring practices based upon diversity, characteristics such as gender and race. Even Twitter people are concerned about this lady. Comcast stated that at NBCU, she, Yacarino, uses the power of media to advance equity and helps to launch the diversity, equity, inclusion-focused initiatives, including, it goes on to tell you, I'll skip down to the bottom, Yacarino could bring back one-sided censorship efforts based upon her leftist views, and that's what other Twitter employees are concerned about. Now let's jump ship to another thing. I keep telling you, it's scalar wave. When you hear, when there is a storm, matter of seems like there's been about a storm every day here in the DFW area, that I think it's scalar wave. Leslie says, you may be trying to read too much into it. Well, when I hear a boom and a boom and a boom and a boom and a boom, diddy boom, 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 that goes on for several minutes, I never heard that in my younger days. There was a boom and a crack and a lightning streak. A lot of times there was a lightning streak, and then you could count 1, 2, 3, 4. Tells how far away that storm is. Not anymore. It's boom, diddy, boom, boom, boom. And what they're doing is using scalar wave, which goes around the planet this way, goes around the planet that way. And when it meets, they can cause large areas of the atmosphere to get super hot or super cold. What can that do? Well, it can do things like this. Put a tornado atop the Rocky Mountains in Montana. Wait a minute. What makes tornadoes? That would be super hot air. So how do you get super hot air at the top of the Rocky Mountains in Montana? You don't, unless you've got a scalar wave machine. Now let's go on. Here's another picture. And they actually had a video on here. I decided not to show it, but it has a video of that. Next one. Illegal immigrants get free smartphones paid for by the U.S. taxpayers. And now we've heard that before, but we haven't heard this. Some do not have court dates until 2035. What are they doing? They're bringing in our enemies within our borders. Look, if they're willing to break our law to come into our nation, then they're willing to break any other laws, right? If they're not willing to do the first law right, they're not willing to do the other laws right. The article goes on to say, a record-breaking flood of illegal immigrants at the southern border. Illegal aliens using U.S. taxpayer-funded cell phones after they were given court dates as far out as 2027. In 2022, the Biden regime reportedly issued over 300,000 smartphones to illegal aliens as part of their alternatives to detention program. Yeah, we wouldn't want to detain those poor illegal aliens that just broke our law by coming in. You know, in some nations, if you go in as an illegal alien, they put you in jail. And they deport you immediately. Like it used to be in America. Migrants open their DHS package and use their government-issued cell phones after being processed and receiving court dates. So if you'll look at this, now, this is the actual document. This is the bottom part of it. And it says his date to show up is May 26 of 2027. So basically, this guy is told, you got to show up for court in 2027. And, of course, most of them don't show up. So they just walk around and do what they want to do. Here's a video of them actually opening their DHS packets, giving them their paperwork that they need here. All I have to do is sign it, turn it back in, and a free charged cell phone. Supreme Court delivers blow to pork producers in dispute over California animal welfare law. Now, I believe you should be treating animals right. I don't think that they should be abused, okay? I think that I would like my eggs to be coming from chickens that are treated right. But are they really concerned about the animals here, or are they concerned about taking the food away from humans? So the Supreme Court handed California a big victory by saying pork produced outside the state has to have these requirements. It says that it bans the sale of pork produced unless the animal from which it's derived from is in a specific space allowances. Okay, so they got to be treated right. Okay, that sounds on the surface okay. So I looked up, what exactly are they talking about? For example, calves cannot be confined with less than 43 square feet. Now think about that. Okay, if you're going to require every cow that is consumed in California to get 43 square feet to grow up in, that could be a problem. Maybe it's not a problem for all of them. Are they really concerned about the calves? Here's another. Egg-laying hens have to have 44 square inches. Pigs have to have 24 square feet. And the problem is, most of the places where these calves and eggs and chickens and pigs are all produced have not been treating them that way. They've not been giving them that much space. And so consequently, what are they really doing? Are they concerned about the calves and the chickens and the eggs or the pigs? Or are they removing our food source? Tons of potentially unsafe food seized in Spain. Now, the article goes on to say, yeah, this was in Spain. You may be saying, yeah, well, I don't eat Spanish food. Well, I don't think they're just after America. I think it's a global thing. They're trying to take away food from everybody so that no one can buy or sell, save he had the mark of the name of the beast and the number of his name. The article goes on to say, Spanish authorities have confiscated more than 16 tons of food that they said was unfit for human consumption. They said they found dead rodents, dropping insects inside cold rooms, food rooms. Okay, we all agree. We want the food to be clean. Or are they trying to take away their food in Spain, the same thing to them? Products included beverages, canned meats, meat products. Okay, if it's in a can, it doesn't make that much difference. Meat products, nuts, various types of sweets. Skip on down, it talks about how 17 tons of olives in the Las Vegas region of Spain were stolen. Now, are they really concerned about our food safety, or are they taking our food away? That's my point. The FDA just approved gene-edited pigs for human consumption. Okay. So we see here they're very concerned about our food safety. We see here they're very concerned about the animals and whether they have enough square inches or square feet. But then they come along and they're not concerned about us and say, oh, they've just approved gene editing of pigs. Now, what are they talking about, gene editing? Have you ever heard the word CRISPR? Yeah, that's the thing where you can go in and edit the genes. So gene editing, the article says, can make changes in the organism's DNA that could occur in nature. That could occur. It didn't say they do occur. And throughout human history, or animal history too, when there has been a change, generally it's not for the better. Generally things go downhill, not up. In other words, when there's a change in our bodies, we're degrading. Even the Bible says that the earth languisheth. In other words, it grows old like a garment. The earth is not getting better. We're not getting better. We're getting worse. Gene editing can make changes in an organism's DNA that could occur in nature or through selective breeding, but would take much longer without a tool like CRISPR. Oh, the wonderful CRISPR tool. Shows that gene editing livestock to quickly produce desirable traits for improved food production. It's important to get these animals introduced into the food supply. Why? Because we're killing them? Because we're destroying how they've been made? 150 different food sources have been destroyed in the last 18 months? Oatly uses the gene editing tool CRISPR to improve genetic traits in livestock and is working toward an FDA approval for a line of gene-edited pigs. That's what we want. First of all, the Bible says we're not supposed to eat pigs anyway, and I don't. But what about the other things? If they're doing it with pigs, they're doing it with everything else we're eating too. Food made from the animals is safe to eat, and that it is possible for an academic institution to achieve this type of FDA authorization. That's right. Now what we want to have is gene-edited meat, gene-edited potatoes. Yes, they do think we're stupid, and I guess they're right. So as they make sure gene-edited food is safe, they also destroy the usual food. Do you see a problem? Do you see a problem when they're destroying our normal food sources and then they're coming up with these other crazy food sources? Do you suppose that there's a plot involved to kill a bunch of people? Oh, surely they wouldn't do that. Or would they? Or did we just come through one of those? Lay's potato chips just had a recall. Oh, you'll not believe. It was really, really bad why they had to recall these Lay's potato chips. Frito-Lay, May 4th, recalled dozens of bags of Lay's potato chips. Why? Well, they discovered they might just have milk in them. Frito-Lay issued the recall after receiving consumer complaints that may contain undeclared milk ingredients from sour cream and onion potato chips. What? Okay, so is it really that important? No, I think that they're trying to take away our food source. In other words, I think that the world is in trouble in a lot of ways. I would suggest you get prepared for the things that are about to happen. We are probably about to see our dollar under attack. We might even, maybe even soon, maybe even this month, we'll see the CBDC come in. We'll see the dollar start getting removed. We could see some big financial changes this month. Get prepared, my brothers and sisters. Ask Jesus to forgive your sins, to come into your heart, and to be your God. It took me about 20 minutes to make these 2 loaves in my kitchen at an ingredient cost of about $12 each. In a time of food shortage and emergency, I'm going to cut each one of these loaves into 14 slices. Eat a slice in the morning, in the afternoon, I'll be satisfied. You want long-term food storage? You want to cut your food costs? Here it is. Eat 2 whole wheat bread slices daily for about a year for about $800 each. JosephKitchen.com's wheat berries come in a nitrogen-infused 7-gallon pail for long-term storage. Most other emergency food costs about $10,000 per person per year. That's right, about $10,000 per person per year. But at Joseph Kitchen, you could do it for about $1,000 per person per year. Now, to get started at JosephKitchen.com, you're going to need a machines package. That's going to give you the grinder, the bread machine, the knife slicer, all you need to make bread, and then you decide how much food you want to get. You want food 6 people 1 year, 4 people 1 year, 2 people 1 year, or just 1 person for a year, all at JosephKitchen.com. About $1,000 per person per year at JosephKitchen.com. Use the promo code Prophecy Club. Get you a $50 discount. JosephKitchen.com, promo code Prophecy Club for a $50 discount on your first order. Terry Saka, Cornerstone, AssetMetals.com. The world seems to be falling apart financially. Why should they call Cornerstone AssetMetals.com today?
Well, the FDIC insurance fund is now empty. Not only is it empty, it's at zero. So now all bank bailouts are going to have to come from taxpayers. This could result in trillions of new currency notes being printed. The more they print, the more inflation we're going to have, potentially hyperinflation, and we need to protect ourselves away from that dollar.
Cornerstone AssetMetals.com. Go online or give them a call at 888-747-3309. Cornerstone AssetMetals.com. You don't have to get anything today. Just give them a call and say, hey, here's my situation. What do you suggest? I am having another level 2. Level 2 School of the Watchmen's Conference, and I'm calling this a teacher's course. It's going to be September 15 and 16. You can go to prophecyclub.com, and it'll tell you all of the details about it. And it gives you all of the requirements. I'll let you read that online. However, the big question is you're going to be saying, well, what's the difference between level 1 and level 2? Well, lots. Level 1 was primarily reading through most of the book of Revelation and teaching it. That's not be level 2. Yes, we will do some reading, but this one is designed to make you a teacher of Bible prophecy, which, by the way, our office wants to know if you went through level 1 and if you have taught or have been invited to teach from the book of Revelation and you went through level 1, send me an email. I'd like to know that. I know there's been at least 1. I think there's 2, maybe more. Anyway, I'd like to know. So level 2 is to teach you to the point to where you can be qualified to actually teach the book of Revelation. Now, I can tell you right up front, we're going to have a level 3, God willing. And in that one, I'm going to require people to memorize the book of Revelation to come to level 3. And so there's going to be 1 year's difference between level 2 and level 3. It took me a year to memorize it, so I figure it'll take you a year to memorize it. Some of you may even faster. So go to prophecyclub.com and it'll give you all the details, tells you all about some of the difficult questions and things like that we're going to cover in level 2. Level 2 is going to get you real close to being a qualified teacher of Revelation. But by the time you get through level 3, having memorized the book, pastor's going to listen to you. And that's where we're going with this. Also, I'd recommend you go and get yourself a Berkey water filter. And yes, we do have Berkeys all in stock now. Also, we have potassium iodate pills, which are what you take inside of once a radioactive unit has happened in your area. As far as Berkey water filters, this is one thing you want to be sure to do is get some extra filters. This is the minimum most people get is this one right here. I get the Crown Berkey right here. This is the one I have, this one I use. And I have about 8 extra filters with me too, because if you're using clean water, they'll last a year or two. But if you're using rainwater or muddy water, then they clog up a whole lot faster. So you want to have some extra filters. Next is, I'll send you to empshield.com. If you use the promo word prophecy, you get a $50 discount. What is that? Well, it looks like this. This is the one that goes into a car, okay? And you put the red wire to the red side of the battery, you put the black wire to the black side of the battery, and the green one attaches to the body of the car. Then you peel it off right back here. Just peel that off, stick it inside of the engine compartment of your car. And the whole point is when the electricity goes off or when some kind of a suitcase nuclear device goes off, this is supposed to be able to stop that device from destroying every computer chip in your car. Because if every computer chip is destroyed in your car these days, you couldn't possibly replace them all. Throw the car away. So, empshield.com, promo code prophecy.